back to another episode of Inside the Markets with Globe. I'm your host Sunlight, and today I'm delighted to welcome onto the show Sjuul, otherwise known as AltCryptoGems. So, watch on to find out about his favourite trading strategies, how he finds good projects to believe in, and his thoughts on the macroeconomic environment. Welcome back to the show, everyone, and welcome, Sjuul. So, let's jump right into things. Can you tell us a bit about yourself and your journey into the crypto sphere?
Absolutely. Good to be here. Like you said, my name is Sjuul. Nowadays, people know me by AltCryptoGems, I think. That's what most people know me by at the moment. And sort of the way I got in crypto was pretty odd, actually. I played a game in 2016, I believe, 2016, 2017. It was a game called Counter-Strike. It's just a shooting game. And you were able to trade skins of these weapons. And I found out that by using basic arbitrage, I was able to make some money by trading these skins. Nothing to do with crypto yet, but I was just making a tiny bit of money by trading these skins. But the only way to cash out that money was in crypto at that time. So I didn't really do anything with crypto. I had no idea what it actually was, but the only way to cash out my money was in crypto. So I did so. And I was still studying, so I didn't really need the money. It was, I think it was maybe 10K or something. So it was a good amount of money, but nothing life-changing. So I left that in there. And then all of a sudden, I mean, we all know what happened with crypto. It sort of exploded and it became more and more. And somewhere end of 2020, beginning of 2021, a friend of mine said, hey, if you heard about this thing called DeFi, you should look at it. So I invested a bit of money into some DeFi coins, which then exploded as well. And pretty much from that moment on, I went sort of full time in crypto. I traded a lot of tokens or a lot of coins on the Binance Smart Chain at that time. And I was trading so many coins that I needed a place to do some bookkeeping, because at the end of the day, I thought, what coins did I buy? Did I make some money? Did I lose money? And that's why I started a Twitter page where I documented everything that I did, my buys, my sells, my portfolio, pretty much everything, just for my own bookkeeping. And then people started to follow me, and eventually platforms or projects like Binance started to reach out saying, hey, we want to work together with you. And from that moment on, I thought I can actually make a business out of this and start earning money by doing so. So I kept on doing it. And now fast forward a couple of years later, this is where we're now at. And in total, the channels are at more than 700,000 followers. And that's sort of what I still do today. And right now we're with almost 15 people that are helping me create all the content and get everything out on a daily basis.
Wow, so it's really like a snowball effect, hasn't it been?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's in like 3 years, it exploded. It's like a train that doesn't really stop right now.
Yeah, and that's amazing. I mean, having as many followers as you do, of course, you give really good, technical analysis on your page. So, I mean, can you talk us through some of your favorite trading strategies and how that they might differ from majors versus the altcoins?
Yeah. It's good that you say this, actually, because I do see it as sort of two different things, pretty much. And I had a event where I was speaking 2 weeks ago in Dubai, and they asked me the same question, and it was about technical analysis. And what I think is, let's say you have a solid coin like AVAX or Ethereum or whatever, the TA actually has a benefit on doing so. But whenever you go to a token that has just launched, or like a low cap coin that launched an hour ago, I don't really see any point in performing TA, because, like I said, it just launched. I mean, you do have no idea what it's going to do. It's a very small coin. So I think there's a big difference in there, where the major alts, like the bigger ones, TA is actually good. What I like to do is do sort of the most simple things: support, resistance, RSI, check volume, and even see simple things that could tell you something's going to happen, price action related. I'm not a big fan of adding 15 different indicators and making your judgments on that. So that's what I do with the major ones. And then the small cap coins, that's what I've been doing for the past years and what I still like. It's just, I do my basic checks. I check out the community. I check out the team behind it. I check out the smart contract. Luckily, I now have my own team that helps me by doing these different things. So it's the trading strategy for the bigger ones will be going by TA and seeing what they can do. And for the smaller ones, I do my due diligence and research, and then buy the tokens that I think have a future, so to speak.
Mhm. So let's delve a little bit more into that actually, because
Yeah.
it can be seen as subjective, what
Mhm.
altcoins will have a future. So what does your decision process look like when you're finding these altcoin projects that you have conviction in?
It differs for the bigger ones and the small ones. Once again, I mean, the bigger ones, obviously the rewards can be a bit less because, let's be honest, they are very big already, but you are able to more safely put in your money into the project. For that, it's more seeing what the project actually does. So, what's the utility? What are they going to provide? What can they do? What team is behind it, etc. And if I then like the utility, I think, you know what, this has a future. Then I start to do TA and see at what points I want to enter and what points I want to sell. Those are for the bigger ones. Um, but for the smaller ones, my decision making is a bit different. Like I said, I have multiple steps that I do. Let's say I find out a project, or someone sends it to me, or I see it on Twitter or Telegram. I then first check what community is behind it. So I go to the Telegram. I check, is the community real? Is there actually some hype behind this project? Then I check out the social. So are the Twitter followers real? Do they actually have a following? What pages do they have? Then I check out, for example, their website. Is it just a simple copy of any WordPress website? Is there a team behind it? Do they have a roadmap? So a bit more information about the project itself. And in honesty, I like trading meme coins. So usually they don't really have any utility. But then these things like community is very important. And once all these things sort of check out, I then have my team where I can send over the project and check more technical wise. So smart contract, liquidity, ownership renouncement, all these type of things. And if they all check out, then I like to invest in it and then see, what the project can actually do. But yeah, like I said, it depends on what project it is and whether it's a meme coin or a project with a real utility. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So actually, there's all talk about utility and everything. So what is like a real use case narrative do you think that will blow up in the next like 3 to 6 months, let's say?
I mean, what we're seeing right now at the moment that we're having this conversation is meme coins are exploding. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if you followed it. Roaring Kitty is back, so that sort of sparks a meme coin hype. But that's not really a utility thing. But I mean, it's hard to say. I still see RWA as a very good one, as you see more and more things happening, more and more people realizing what they can do with it. AI obviously is still a very hot topic and has a bright future. I mean, yesterday, ChatGPT brought out some updates. So I still see these things as a very, something that has a possible bright future ahead. And I mean, probably even a combination of these things. So project with, for example, AI, with RWA. I think things like these are the ones that are going to have a good future in the coming 3 to 6 to 9 months ahead.
Yeah, how exciting. And I feel like this narrative has kind of been playing out for a while now, but
Yeah.
has it been, doing what you thought it would be? Like all these other projects coming into it? What do you think?
I think the ETF news was especially was an example of the buy the rumor, sell the news. And we see this very often. We actually saw it with the halving as well, where people were talking about the ETFs might be coming, then sort of the hype built up, and then Bitcoin obviously started to go up. Then we actually got the ETF approval, where we saw, I think, even a small dump happening at that time, where it's just a buy the rumor, sell the news. People already talked about it. They already saw it happening. So for short term, I don't think it changed that much. But long term, I think it's very good for crypto because let's be honest, it makes sure that we get more crypto adoption. Bigger institutions are able to get into it. So having all these things combined, I think in the near future, it's going to be good. We now have some rumors about the Ethereum ETFs that are happening. So once these do get approved, I think it's good for altcoins as well. So in all honesty, I think like I said, short term, not that much, but long term, I think it's very good for crypto in general, and even institutions. I'm from the Netherlands, and the institutions that I'm talking with, they're saying, yeah, we want to accept crypto, but it just needs a bit more. And I think the ETFs are a very good catalyst for things like these to happen. So in the near future, I definitely see some positive things happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I really liked how you said when these ETFs get approved, not
Yep.
if. So is that a question of when, not if for you?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think it was the same with Bitcoin ETFs, where if you asked me 5 years ago, where do you see crypto? I would have said I'm not too sure. But now, when people ask, I don't see it disappearing anymore. And I think it's only going to get bigger. I do think it's going to change. For example, the meme coins, the altcoins, the lower cap coins. I think it's going to be a bit more difficult with all the regulations that are coming. So I do see the space changing, but I don't see it disappearing anymore. And then ETFs, I think, are just part of it, which eventually will get approved. I think so, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, so you just touched a bit on regulation. So,
Yeah,
what are your thoughts on regulation? Because it is like an important step for
yeah.
mass adoption, right? So, what are your thoughts?
It's like you said, where I think it's important for adoption. I think we need it to make sure, like I said, the bigger institutions are able to do something with crypto. I mean, you need some regulation for it. So I think at that part, it's good that we have it. I also think it's good that we have it uh, to make sure, for example, scammers or people that hackers, etc. All these type of people, they will have a more hard time doing so. So I think that's why it's good. I do hope, and I'm not too sure about it, but let's hope so, um, that the regulations won't be too much that it's not fun to be in crypto anymore. For example, I think the first MiCAR like examples that were released, any transaction above, I can't remember, let's say any transaction above 500 USDT or whatever, you need to document, you need to show where it's coming from, you need to show where it's going to, you need to find out what use is behind it. If things like that are going to happen, then it's no real fun to be in crypto anymore. Let's be honest. So I hope that I do think it adds value, and I think it's important, but let's hope they don't over-regulate it where at some point there's no point in being in crypto anymore. But yeah, I guess only time will tell.
Yeah, there's quite a few things happening in the macro side of things this week. Actually, I think
Yep.
today
Yep.
there is actually you talk about it. Let me not. Yeah. So, what kind of like macro narratives might drive crypto prices at the moment?
I mean, if you talk about the more bigger things, which I mean, we have the FOMC meetings, we have the CPI results, etc. But in honesty, I think they're very short term. At that time, you see crypto going up, and you see it going down, and then 5 hours later, we're back at where we started. So I don't see, for example, the CPI results that we had today. I don't see it, changing the crypto space for the long term. But I mean, or things happening in the world also have an impact on crypto. And what I mean with that is, for example, we have the COVID, which is a very big thing that made crypto eventually go up. But now we see countries being at war. We see the banks sort of collapsing. So I think all these things do have an impact on crypto, but it's hard to say. For example, the war, will it escalate? Will it not escalate? I don't know. But I do think all these, yeah, sort of, I wouldn't call it narratives, but these things happening in the world will eventually have an impact on crypto. But yeah, once again, the phrase only time will tell. No one really can say what's going to happen. But I do think these things will have an impact. Absolutely.
Yeah, is that kind of like a thing where bad things are happening, so people want to get into crypto?
Yeah. I think it helps. So I wouldn't say we have COVID, so crypto goes up. But I would say because COVID, more people got into crypto, and then eventually that made crypto go up. And that's the same thing with, for example, the war, or when we have inflation, etc. More and more people are then finding out different ways to do something with their money, and then get to crypto. And because of all of these things, we have a bit more adoption for crypto. So I would say that all these things help or have a benefit for crypto. But I wouldn't say it's, you know what, we have COVID right now, so tomorrow crypto is going up. I think that's too black and white. I think it's a bit more in between that. Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. So, I mean, it's really interesting to see how, because I've never had this kind of your point of view before about
Yeah.
how some macro narratives, they'll only affect the crypto market in the short term.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's really interesting to see. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it just helps. Like I said, for example, the CPI results that we had today. Um, Obviously, if the sort of percentages or the inflation results come in and they, you know, the inflation percentages that are happening over the last 2 years, obviously it has an impact on crypto. But what I mean more to say is that a meeting that we had today, the results come out, Bitcoin pumps 5% or a couple percent, and then 2 hours later we dump again and we're at the same price again. That's pretty much happening all the time. So that's what I mean with the short term thing, where obviously eventually it does have an impact on what inflation is happening, etc. But these meetings that we have today, usually I don't even trade during these meetings because it's very hard to trade, because like I said, it goes up, it goes down, and it goes up again. So it's hard to find a point where to enter. Yeah, that's what I think of it.
Okay, amazing. And actually, so let's talk a bit more about, you said a point to enter. What is, in your opinion, a good point to enter into a trade?
I mean, a good point to enter in crypto in general was years ago, obviously, and I think to this day still is. And to enter a trade, like I said, the more bigger coins, I try to do a bit more into TA, where I check, are we sitting at a support? Are we sitting at a resistance? What's the volume at right now? So whenever I try to do how would you say it, a confluence of three things. So for example, volume, for example, support, resistance, RSI. If I see that three things are happening, then I buy or sell. Um, so that's for the bigger ones. And for the smaller ones, like I said, once I have done my due diligence and my research, and I think, you know what, this is a good entry, then I just, buy the coin, and then eventually sell. My sell points for low cap gems, what I try to do when a project goes up 2x, 3x, something like that, I try to take out my initial investment and then leave that moon bag. And when that moon bag does a 2x, 3x again, I take out the moon bag and then, rinse and repeat. Because you don't want to know how many people send me a message where I have a project that I talked about. It goes up 25x, for example, and people send me a message, say, oh, I lost money on the call, or I only made $100. So I'm saying, what do you mean? And they say, yeah, I invested $1,000. It went up to 25K, but I thought it could go up to 50K. So they don't sell anything. Eventually, the project goes down, and then they're left with the 1K that they invested. So I do think it's important to take profits. And then, yeah, that's my thought usually. 2x, 3x, take out your initial investment, leave a moon back. And when that does a 2x, 3x again, you take that out, and then you rinse and repeat. That's what I usually do.
Yeah, amazing. And you're in it for free, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And you need to take profits, otherwise you're not going to make up for the ones that are not in profit, then where you're losing out on money. So you need to take out some profits for the bigger ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. So that being said, like you do take your initial investment out. But apart from that, what are you doing to personally prepare for this upcoming cycle?
I mean, I've prepared for the past years already, to be honest. And what I mean with that is, in 2021, obviously we had the bull run, so it was all fun and well, and everyone made a lot of money. Then we had a bear market where people were starting to lose money, and it all went down. And I think it's important in a bull run to take profits. And what I already do is I take out profits and then invest it into something else, crypto, other than crypto. So even if it's stocks or real estate, anything else like crypto. So that's what I do. And then for the upcoming cycle, I've been DCAing for the past 2 years, pretty much. I think that's the best way to do it, because it's very hard to time the exact bottom or the exact top. So I think DCA is the best way to do so. So for the past, I can't remember, but I'd say 2 years, I've pretty much been buying every month, just small bits every month, just keep on buying. And then once we do get a good run going in the next months to half a year to year, then I'm going to shortly DCA out again and then move that money over to different assets.
Okay, amazing. So your kind of estimate for this kind of cycle is very soon, no?
I think I got this question on an interview a couple of weeks ago. I think the exact top sort of what's going to happen is I think somewhere Q2, Q3 next year, when I think sort of you want to have most of it sold already. And then in the coming months, I think we're probably going to see a small run and then move up towards 2025. And then I think 2025 is going to be a good year until, yeah, somewhere Q2, Q3. That's what I think.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. Right. So obviously you've been trading for
Yep.
years now. So do you have any advice for someone who might want to be getting into it right now? Because I know you said, the best time was years ago, but if there was anyone who wanted to join in now.
Yeah, like I said, I still think if you're not in crypto, then it is a good time to be in crypto right now. Yeah, because I think in the coming months to year, we do see a good time ahead. As advice, I'd say probably just start trying. And what I mean with that is, I sometimes get a message of people saying, "Hey, I want to get started in crypto, but I don't know where to start because it's so much. We have this chain, blah blah blah." What I usually say is simply deposit, let's say 100 USDT or 100 euros on any exchange or whatever, and then just start trying. Buy your first coin or buy a couple coins, start trading, start bridging. And I think by eventually doing so, you're going to end up in sort of a, how would you say, like in a rabbit hole where
Yeah.
eventually you're going to look up some YouTube videos. You're going to find out what's staking, what's bridging, and then before you know it, you're knees deep into crypto, and you're learning as you go. I think that's the best way to do it. Don't just go to someone that says invest 10K in this, but actually start with a tiny bit of money. You are going to lose that money, let's be honest, because you're going to buy a scam or a rug or whatever. But I'd say just try, just get started, and then you're going to learn on the way. But don't be afraid to lose that first $100 because pretty much everyone has lost the first $100.
Have you?
Yeah. You don't want to know how much sort of tokens I've bought or things that I tried which lost money.
Yeah, gosh. Yeah, I mean, you've been in this for years, right? So
It's
it's been a
the
lot.
biggest one was Luna. That's still the one where
Oh,
I mean, I
yeah.
had used T, the stable coin variant of Luna, where, and that was the most annoying thing. It was sort of my safety stash, if you know what I mean. Like the money I made by trading, I just put it in UST because I thought it's a stable coin, it's a
Mm,
dollar coin. It just generates a tiny bit of money with the staking that you could do. But it was more of a sort of safety net for me. And then all of a sudden Luna started to collapse, and then UST started to collapse as well. And I lost a lot of money on UST, unfortunately. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, sometimes you lose some, sometimes you win some, right?
Yeah. That's a great mindset to have, especially when you're dealing with, your livelihood, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, you have to. Otherwise, you're gonna get yourself crazy.
Yeah, no, it's so true. So, I mean, of course, that must have been horrible. I mean, it was horrible for everyone, but how did you kind of deal with that?
I mean, yeah, like you said, it was horrible. It was actually, I was on a holiday, so I couldn't even
Mm.
reach my money because all my money is usually behind harbor wallets in different vaults all over the Netherlands. So I was on holiday, so I couldn't even sell anything. So the time I got
Oh,
back, I
no.
checked out, and then I lost a lot of money. Yeah, the way to cope. I mean, like I said, it is a thing of where sometimes you make a lot of money. You also need to know that sometimes you're going to lose a lot of money. If there's no risk, there's also going to be no rewards. Um, so that's one thing that I sort of had in mind. I also had in mind where it happened. Then you could say, "Shit, I had to do this," or "I wish I did this," but in honesty, you didn't. So yeah, at that time, I thought it was a good way to, yeah, store my money. So these things combined are sort of what I thought, what, let's just keep at it. I mean, I think for a week I didn't really do anything crypto related because I just thought, screw it all, I don't want to do it anymore. But then I thought I made the money by trading crypto in a pretty short amount of time where nowhere else you're able to make the same amount of money. So I thought, you know what, I can actually do it again. And let's try to do it a bit, more serious and a bit bigger and a bit better this time. So that's what I tried, and that's what I've been doing pretty much for the past years.
Yeah, amazing. And it sounds like you've kind of learned from your mistakes and everything.
Yeah,
So
that's what I
could
try.
you give us like let's say your top three mistakes that you're glad you went through because you learned from them.
One thing that I still see people doing, which I think people need to stop doing, is don't put all your eggs into one basket. So I get a message from someone that says, "Hey, I've got 5K to spare and I want to, invest it into crypto," and they invest it into one specific coin that they found out, and they invest the entire 5K into it. Um, I always say, you know what, you need to spread and make sure that you're not just getting one token. So that's one thing. The second thing is obviously only do with money that you can lose. Try to put aside a bit of money that you can lose and try to get a portfolio or a crypto portfolio with that specific sort of amount of money. And third, I'd say don't marry your bags. The thing I just said, I still get people that are, they buy a coin and then it runs up to X amount and then they won't even sell because they think it's going to be the next million. Um, but let me tell you, it's not going to be the next million. You need to sell, before it actually goes down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these three things are the ones that are very generic, but still so many people don't really do it. So I think it's good to mention them.
Yeah, amazing. And there's a reason why people keep on saying this, right? Because
Exactly.
people don't do
Exactly. Don't do it.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that comes up to the end of our kind of questions, but do
Yeah.
do you have any closing comments for us?
Yeah, I'd say if people are listening that are still not into crypto, then obviously get into crypto and get started right now, because I think the train is sort of moving very soon. And like I said, just get started, deposit some money onto a exchange or somewhere, and just get started. And you are going to lose the first $100 or a couple $100, but hopefully after that you would have learned something, and then it goes
Hmm.
well or a bit better. Yeah, I'd say
Yeah,
crypto is a very good place to be in.
yeah, absolutely. And also follow Sjuul on Twitter,
Obviously,
obviously.
AltCryptoGems, that's the name. I do Twitter. That's sort of where I do all my calls.
Mm.
If you want to see a bit more behind the scenes of what things that I do or what I do, it's Instagram, also AltCryptoGems, and a bit more in-depth tutorials and guides. We post them on YouTube, where we make videos and a bit more specific and a bit well explained. Yeah, pretty much AltCryptoGems. That's my name, and that's where you can find me.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Right.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me as well.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to give us a like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow Sewell on, well, all the aforementioned social medias. And thank you so much, Sewell, for your time. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
Absolutely. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks.